Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, bringing you guys another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In this video, we're going to be going over part 16 from my video series for Global DFFOO called The X Factor. Now, as you guys know, as of the previous X Factor, I kind of changed things up about how I'm moving forward with this series. First of all, I no longer am looking at these EX weapons and letting you guys know if a character can still function with or without that weapon, because we are now in the Cosmos era and very soon in the Chaos era, and during these eras, a character is going to want their EX weapon, because if they don't have it, unfortunately, they're just going to be lackluster, they're not going to have longevity, and they really won't be able to perform to the best of their ability for these harder eras within Opera Omnia. So we're going to be covering the weapons that are currently either out as of the last Square Enix stream that they had, and also the ones that we know that we're going to be getting all the way up until the end of October. So we're going to start things off with Prompto's EX weapon. Now, Prompto's EX weapon Quicksilver is currently out right now upon the making of this video. This gives him the EX ability called Trigger Happy, so it's a one-hit non-elemental range, single target brave, and HP attack executed 10 times. The first attack hits the target, while the remaining attacks are dispersed if there are multiple targets. It gives him that King's Buddy framed buff to himself for 6 turns, increasing the party's attack and max brave by 20% and Prompto's speed by 20%. It has a total 400% brave damage potency with a slightly fast recast speed. At 1 limit break, it increases the brave damage for this EX ability. At 2, it raises the recast speed from slightly fast to fast, and then at 3, it permanently increases the brave damage dealt by Prompto with his critical hits by 20% for all of his abilities. So obviously Prompto is going to be getting some nice things from this EX weapon. First of all, it's very fast, it hits 10 times, so if there's only one target, that's a lot of cumulative damage that you're dealing to that one target. It has a nice framed buff that actually helps the party out as an aura, and it also increases his speed. So overall, great longevity for Prompto with this weapon. However, should you be pulling for this weapon upon its initial release? Now, I said the same things on my Prompto video, but honestly, since we already know and we have a foresight of what's going to be coming out for the future of Global DFFOO, this weapon, for me personally, is a pass. And if you want to pull on it again, it does come back on his Lost Chapters, and on there, it's going to be getting its plus variant. Prompto will be getting a rework, and Freya, who is also on the banner, is going to be getting her EX weapon with its plus variant, and she also gets a rework as well. So if you want to pull for this weapon at its prime, I would honestly recommend waiting for it to come back during its Lost Chapters, because as of right now, while Prompto can perform decently well during the Cosmos era, once we hit Chaos, even with his EX, unfortunately, he's not really bringing much of a wow factor to the table to really help you carry through the early Chaos stages. Now, the next EX weapon we're going to be talking about is going to be for Setzer. So this is going to be his Death Strike Darts, which gives him the EX ability called Prismatic Flash. This is a 7-hit non-elemental magic AoE brave plus AoE HP attack, with the HP damage being divided amongst multiple targets. However, if there's only one target, you're going to be dealing an additional 1.6 times increased brave damage. It heals the party's brave by 100% of the highest current brave, except for the one that has the highest current brave. It extends the duration of all of the personal buffs that Setzer currently has by 1 turn, and then it also grants him a framed buff called Blackjack for 6 turns, increasing the party's attack and max brave by 20%, and also further increasing Setzer's own attack and max brave by 20%. So for Setzer himself, that's a total of 40% increase on those 2 stats, which is pretty amazing. It has a 280% brave damage potency, and it does have a slightly fast recast speed. At 1 limit break, the brave damage is increased for Prismatic Flash. At 2, it raises the recast speed from slightly fast to fast. And then at 3, it changes Setzer's HP attack to its plus variant, allowing him to heal his own brave based on 50% of his attack before dealing a single target HP attack, and then healing his own brave based on 30% of the HP damage dealt. So when I originally covered this weapon on my World of Illusions Ultimate Trials for Ramuh, because that's when this EX weapon actually debuts, I made a comment about how powerful it was, and it is extremely powerful. As you can see, it not only increases the party's overall offensive capabilities with that nice frame buff, but it also replenishes everybody's brave by an extremely high amount. So if you take advantage of this EX ability, especially during the summon phase, you could quickly burst down a boss fairly quickly with this. And one of the recommendations that I made for this weapon is that if you're going to pull for it on its release, it's good to pull for it if you intend to use Setzer as a friend unit for your other allies. Now, he's also going to do very well as an actual party member, but for the most part, a lot of people tend to use him as a friend unit. Even during the Chaos era, he's really used as a friend unit because he allows your team to just burst things down because of what this EX ability does. And to top it off, it's really fast. So personally, this one is a 50-50. It really entirely depends on what you want to do with Setzer if you decide to pull on this weapon right away on its debut. Should he be your set friend unit to help your friends out, or do you want to actually use him? Now, if you decide to pass on this weapon, it does come back during the Brothers Ultimate Trial, when they also bring back all the super synergy from the previous Ultimate Trials, and that's when this EX weapon gets its plus variant. And for me personally, that's more worth it for me to pull for this EX weapon on its second release during that, because it gets its plus variant and it's going to be a lot more powerful. And literally, this EX ability with its plus variant, you could cast it every other turn, especially if you use him as a friend unit. You summon the friend Setzer, you go Prismatic Flash, and then you go Freeze Joker, and then you have Prismatic Flash already available again. So it gets pretty insane with its plus variant. Now, the next EX weapon we're going to talk about is going to be for Gilgamesh. So he gets the EX ability called Hurricane coming from his EX weapon called Wind Slash. It's a 3-hit non-elemental melee single target brave plus single target HP attack. It grants him 1 stack of Hero of the Big Bridge to himself for 3 turns. It raises his attack and also lowers enemies' attack, and changes his brave attack to Kotetsu and his HP attack to Genji Blade, and it also delays the target by 1 turn. It has a 360% brave damage potency with a normal recast speed. At 1 limit break, he gets a brave damage increase for Hurricane. At 2, he now grants himself 3 stacks of Hero of the Big Bridge rather than 1 for 3 turns. And then at 3 limit break, it raises the recast speed from normal to slightly fast for Hurricane. Okay, so I love Gilgamesh personally. I love the character. I call him like Final Fantasy's Deadpool because he can break the 4th wall like Deadpool does. I love the character himself, and his EX ability will be giving him a little bit of longevity. And when his EX weapon actually comes out, Gilgamesh actually does get a rework, which is pretty nice. However, this EX weapon, unfortunately for me, is probably one of the more lackluster ones out of this whole bunch that we're going to be talking about in this video. While it's nice, 3 hits, and what Gilgamesh does is he literally spins around, but I don't understand how you're spinning around constantly and you're only dealing 3 hits. First of all, that animation for me is a bit misleading. Second of all, while it does change its abilities, to their better variants, so like Kotetsu and Genji Blade, remember, when Gilgamesh uses them, it reverts back to their base version. So he's constantly resetting himself, which he never really gets to stay at his maximum potential. So honestly, when this weapon first comes out on his Lost Chapters release, which we're going to be seeing soon, it's a pass for me, guys. I honestly would not pull on this weapon unless you absolutely love Gilgamesh. Now, he does get this weapon coming back on the X-Death character banner. It's going to be getting its plus variant alongside being released with X-Death's EX weapon. So that's probably the more, I say, ideal time for this weapon in particular to pull for it, because it's going to be even better, and Gilgamesh actually gets a little bit better with it. But on its initial release, it's a pass, guys. I'm sorry. As much as I love Gilgamesh, this weapon is a pass for me. It's not super spectacular. It's okay, it's funny, he spins around, but that's about it, to be honest. Alright, so the next EX weapon we're going to be taking a look at is going to be for Ida. So Ida's EX weapon is called Sudarshana Chakra. Hope I said that correctly. It grants her the EX ability Tornado Kick. Tornado Kick does have a plus variant. This is going to be a 4-hit non-elemental melee, single target brave plus single target HP attack, followed by a 1-hit non-elemental melee, single target brave plus single target HP attack. It has an overflow of up to 180% of max max brave, and it's 200% for the plus variant. It grants her 1 stack of something called Greased Lightning, which changes Tornado Kick to Tornado Kick Plus, and it also increases Ida's attack by 20%. Now, when you use Tornado Kick Plus, it does consume that 1 stack of Greased Lightning. So remember, the plus variant won't be granting her Greased Lightning, it just consumes it. It has a 650% Brave damage potency for the base version, and then it has 750% for the plus variant, and it does have a slightly fast recast speed. At 1 limit break, the Brave damage is going to be increased for this EX ability. At 2, it raises the recast speed from slightly fast to fast, and then at 3, it permanently increases Ida's own attack and max brave by 20%. So if you take a look at it, that's quite a powerful EX ability. To top it off, it's really fast. I mean, it has a fast recast speed when you have it fully max limit broken. It has huge overflow. It has a pretty cool, nice stacking buff. It only lasts essentially once if you use Tornado Kick Plus, so then you have to refresh it again. So this EX ability, honestly, is very, very strong. And to top it off, when Ida gets this EX weapon debuted during the AFMA banner, because that's when it comes out, Ida is also going to be getting a rework, making her even more of a powerhouse. So this EX weapon honestly is very tempting. On this list, this is one of the more tempting ones that I was looking at, and if you like Ida, she's actually going to be pretty powerful for the remaining duration of the Cosmos era. Now for the early Chaos, it's honestly, she kind of falls off, even despite how strong this EX ability is and how powerful she does become with her rework. So if you decide to pass on it, while you are going to be missing out on a very powerful EX weapon, just know that the character herself doesn't really last into the early Chaos. I mean, unless you use her with a pretty good party setup where she can actually be sort of carried with some of the more meta-defining units during early Chaos, it's more than likely this one is going to be another pass. But it is very powerful. So this is actually a pretty decent pull if you decide to pull for it on its debut. Now, if you do pass on Ida's EX weapon on its debut, just know that it does come back during the Alpha Nod Lost Chapters, and during then, it's going to be getting its plus variant, and we're also going to be seeing it release alongside Alphanod's EX weapon, and his EX weapon also gets a plus variant, and Alphanod himself actually gets better too. So if you decide to pass on Ida, just know that you can get the better version of this weapon upon the release of Alphanod's Lost Chapters. Now the next EX weapon we're going to take a look at is another tempting one. There's a lot of tempting ones on for the month of October. This one is going to be Null's EX weapon. So Null's EX weapon is called Guardian's Edge. It gives him the EX ability called Meteor Javelin, and it does have a plus variant. This is going to be a 3-hit non-elemental melee single target brave plus single target HP attack that is executed 4 times, and it ignores defense. It has an overflow of up to 120% of max brave. It deals 20% HP splash damage to other targets on the 4th attack, and this is increased to 50% for the plus variant. It changes to Meteor Javelin Plus if you're using this on a target that is already in a break or broken state. It has a 420% brave damage potency and a 480% for the plus variant with a normal recast speed. At 1 limit break, the brave damage is increased for Meteor Javelin and the plus variant. At 2, when you're using Meteor Javelin or its plus variant, Null will be granting to himself Will to Seize the Future for 6 turns, which is a framed buff that increases the party's attack and max brave by 20%, and further increasing his own attack and max brave by 20%. So that's going to be 40% for Null. And then at 3, it's going to be raising the recast speed from normal to slightly fast for Meteor Javelin and its plus variant. So yet again, we have another tempting EX weapon that we're going to be seeing soon for the month of October for Global. It's very powerful, it ignores defense, and Null himself is actually a very strong character during the Cosmos era. He's very, very powerful. He has a mechanic where he can kind of be like a pseudo Vayne, where he doesn't take up a turn count, and he can essentially break the target and things like that. He has a specific rotation. We'll get into that when I actually talk about Null on a separate video. And his EX ability, like I said, is very, very good. Ignores defense, hits 4 times, gives him a framed buff. You know, if you have it fully max limit broken, has a pretty, you know, slightly fast recast speed is pretty good. So you could see yourself using this ability quite often. Again, it's very tempting, it is good, it makes Null more viable, and I feel like Null is a character that could actually, potentially, be able to be used for early Chaos because he's actually pretty powerful. But again, we have all that foresight for specific weapons that we know are going to be coming out after the month of October, so this one is hard. This one is 50-50. I know there's a lot of you folks that are excited for Null, so when his EX weapon debuts during the Act 2 Chapter 5 banner, just know that it is another good pull. I don't feel it's personally a must pull. Now, if you decide to pass on Null's EX weapon on its debut, it does come back with its plus variant on the Caius banner, and Caius also gets his EX weapon there, so you're going to have 2 EX weapons to pull for there. You have Caius and Null, both with their plus variants, and that's definitely going to be another opportune time, a more opportune time to pull for Null's weapon should you decide to pass on it on its debut. Now, the next EX weapon we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Aerith's EX weapon. It's going to be called the Mithril Rod, and it's going to be giving her the Fury Brand EX ability. So Aerith is going to be healing the party's brave by 200% of her own attack. It grants her Descendant of the Ancients for herself for 3 turns, increasing the party's attack by 50% and their brave overflow by 30%. And it also changes her brave attack or its plus and its HP attack or its plus to their plus variants. Brave Attack Plus Plus is a 2-hit non-elemental magic single target brave attack with a 180% brave damage potency, healing the party's brave by 120% of own brave with a low action delay. The HP Attack Plus Plus is going to be healing Aerith's own brave by 20% of her max brave, and then she follows with a 2-hit non-elemental magic single target brave plus single target HP attack with a brave overflow up to 120% of max brave. It has a 150% brave damage potency and a low action delay. It does have a normal recast speed. At 1 limit break, it slightly lowers the action delay for Fury Brand. At 2, it prevents Aerith from being KO'd if her HP is at 50% or greater. And then at 3, it raises the recast speed for Fury Brand from normal to slightly fast. So Aerith honestly has a pretty good EX weapon, and again, it's another tempting one. And this one is going to be debuting during the Blackened Will raid. We're going to be getting the Blackened Will raid, and when that comes out, that's when this weapon is going to be debuting. So that's going to be your chance to pull for this weapon. So for Aerith, it really depends. This will obviously be giving her some offensive options. Now, while the EX ability itself is not turn efficient because it doesn't deal damage, it allows Aerith to have better versions of her brave attack and HP attack, so she could actually do more than just constantly wasting turns using her support abilities, because none of her support abilities do HP damage afterwards. So for me, if you're lacking support, so if you're lacking, like, let's say Porum, you're lacking, let's say Lena, or you're lacking Selfie, then I would say it's a good idea to pull for Aerith, because she's actually pretty strong with this EX weapon. However, if you already have some pretty powerful support, I would say it's probably best to pass on Aerith's weapon. And if you decide to pass on it, it's going to be significantly better during its second release, during the Diabolos Ultimate Trials, because it's going to be getting its plus variant, and that's where I feel like this weapon is going to be more opportune to pull on. Now, the next EX weapon we're going to be taking a look at is going to be for Realm. So Realm is going to be getting her EX weapon called Magic Brush. I'm going to give her that EX ability called Star Prism. It's going to be a 6-hit non-elemental magic AoE Brave plus AoE HP attack. The AoE Brave hits are dispersed amongst multiple targets, so they're random for the AoE Brave hits, and then the HP damage itself is divided amongst multiple targets. It has an overflow of up to 150% of max Brave. It inflicts that Sketch debuff on all targets for 2 turns, and just a review for what Sketch does, it reduces the enemy's attack by 20%, and it also allows Realm to take an immediate free turn right after that target inflicted with Sketch ends their turn, and that free turn does not increase the turn count. It has a slightly slow recast speed. Brave damage is going to be increased at 1 limit break, and then it's also going to be raising the recast speed from slightly slow to normal for Star Prism at 2 limit break, and then at 3 limit break it's going to be permanently increasing Realm's attack and max Brave by 20%, changing her HP attack to HP attack plus, which heals the party's Brave by 20% of own max Brave, extending her own existing buffs by 1 turn, and dealing a single target HP attack with a low action delay. So Realm, oh, this one's another, like I said, there's a lot of tempting ones for the month of October. So Realm has turn shenanigans, and when Realm gets this EX weapon with her Lost Chapters release, she's also going to be getting a pretty powerful rework as well. So Realm is like backwards Noctis. She's like reverse Noctis. So you know how Noctis places his next turn with his plus variants like right before that target takes their turn? Realm does the opposite, where she places her turn right after that enemy takes theirs. So you could really do some crazy turn shenanigans with Realm, and this is why I feel like this EX weapon is really, really tempting. It's because of that. Because anytime a character has some kind of like turn manipulation, it makes them very unique. It makes them a lot of fun to play because they have a mechanic that not every single character in DFFOO has that makes them very, very fun to use, and honestly could make them potentially viable for specific fights, especially if you like to cheese the turn count, because strict turn counts is now a thing with the Cosmos era and is going to be more so of a thing for the Chaos era. With that being said, Realm still does not have an EX Plus variant of this weapon, and also this weapon still has to be refeatured in another banner. So it's a rare EX weapon. If you decide to pull for it, just know that it's going to be rare. You're not going to see it just yet being released because it hasn't even repeated yet on the JP side of the game. However, I don't feel like it's an absolute must pull. It's a great pull. It's a fun pull just because of the turn shenanigans, but again, we have that foresight. We know it's coming out after October. So it's another pass, but it is a good pull. Next EX weapon. There's a lot of EX weapons we're going over for part 16, guys. It's going to be for Lion. So Lion is going to be getting her EX weapon. It's going to be called Vajra. It's going to be giving her the EX ability called Walk the Plank. It's a 4-hit non-elemental melee AoE Brave plus AoE HP attack, with the HP damage being divided evenly amongst multiple targets, increasing the Brave damage against a singular target by 1.6 times, and it dispels buffs on all enemies. It recovers 1 usage of sneak attack up to the base value, and if on the previous turn, if that was taken by either an ally or Lion, and I say Lion too because she does have low action delays on a lot of her abilities, Walk the Plank changes to Walk the Plank Light, which adds a 4-hit Holy Magic single target Brave plus single target HP attack. Now the Brave damage potency is at 320% for this ability, however it's at 560% for the light version, and it has a slightly slow recast speed. At 1 limit break, we're going to get a Brave damage increase for Walk the Plank at its light version. At 2, it's going to be increasing the overflow for Walk the Plank and Walk the Plank Light. And then at 3, it's going to be raising the recast speed from slightly slow to normal for Walk the Plank. Again, another really fun, another really cool, tempting EX weapon that... there's so many on the month of October. It's pretty powerful, and Lion herself, when the AFMA event comes out, because the AFMA event is going to be featuring the debut of this EX weapon, Lion is going to be getting a pretty powerful rework. She becomes a lot more powerful. She becomes Cosmos viable, not necessarily early Chaos viable, but she's Cosmos viable, and she gets this pretty powerful EX weapon. So it's another tempting one, but unfortunately, it's another pass, guys, unless you absolutely love Lion. And I know there's a particular fellow content creator, streamer named Redbeard Elite, who's like a super Lion fanboy. I know he's going to be pulling for this weapon. But yeah, it's powerful. It's great. It's unfortunately not necessarily early Chaos viable, so unless you love Lion, then that's up to you to pull for this EX weapon. Now, if you decide to pass on this EX weapon, it does come back during the Pandemonium Ultimate Trials. However, unfortunately, it has yet to see an EX Plus variant, but if you guys watch the Infiltration report on JP not too long ago, AFMA is actually getting her Lost Chapter soon on JP, and Lion for sure is going to be getting the Plus variant of this EX weapon. So that's another time you could also pull for it, but we don't have any details yet on that banner, so I can't really show any visuals for that, but it does come back during the Pandemonium Ultimate Trials if you decide to pass on it during its initial release. Now, the final EX weapon that we're going to be talking about for part 16 of X Factor is going to be for Leon. He's going to be getting the Gaia Blade, granting him the EX ability called Dark Stream. It does have a plus variant. It is a 4-hit dark melee AoE Brave plus AoE HP attack that deals 100% AoE HP damage to all targets. It changes Dark Stream to Dark Stream Plus while his Dark Knight frame buff is active, and if Leon's HP is 80% or greater. So remember, you have to have those two prerequisites in order to have access to Dark Stream Plus. It grants him Dark Knight's Pride for 4 turns, and what this does, check this out guys, it grants all enemies the dark element, so now all enemies attacking you will be hitting you with the dark element and also granting your party the dark element absorb. It has a 320% brave damage potency and 400% for the plus variant at a normal recast speed. At 1 limit break, it's going to be increasing the brave damage for Dark Stream and its plus variant. At 2, it's going to be raising the recast speed from normal to slightly fast for Dark Stream and its plus variant. And then at 3, it permanently increases attack and max brave by 20% for Leon. And then while Dark Knight is active and his HP is 50% to 80%, it changes his HP attack to HP attack plus. And then if Dark Knight is active and Leon's HP is at 80% or greater, it changes his HP attack to HP attack plus plus variant. Now HP attack plus is a one-hit non-elemental melee single target brave plus single target HP attack with an 80% brave damage potency that heals Leon's own HP by 20% of HP damage dealt, up to 10% of own max HP, and then the plus plus variant has the same effects as the plus variant with a 120% brave damage potency. This EX weapon is one that I'm really considering to pull for, even though I said that there's two particular ones that I know everybody's looking forward to, Charlotta and Ultimecia. We all know that those are the ones that we should be hoarding for because those are two extremely powerful characters. But take a look at what this does. Dark element to all your enemies, and then gives your party dark absorb. So whatever attacks that's going to be incoming from the targeted enemies that have the dark enchant from Leon, they're going to be healing you, and that is extremely powerful, and that could definitely be early chaos viable. Actually, I will just say out right now, if you have this EX weapon equipped on Leon, he will be early chaos viable because that is extremely valuable, very unique, that he actually allows you to absorb the incoming dark attacks because he applies the dark element onto the enemies. Now, this weapon has yet to repeat, unfortunately, so when Leon gets this debuted EX weapon on his Lost Chapters, just know that it is a bit of a rare EX weapon currently right now. It has yet to repeat, so I don't know what to say about this one. It's so strong that I can't decide whether or not it's a must pull or whether or not it's a skip, and that you guys should hold on to your resources really for either Charlotta or Ultimecia. But just know that this EX weapon is so unique and it's extremely powerful. Even if it doesn't even have a plus variant or a repeated banner yet, it is an extremely powerful EX weapon. And if you pull for it, just know that it's very powerful. And also Leon, I forgot to mention, does get a rework on his Lost Chapters, which makes him even more of a viable character. Alright guys, I know that was a lot of information to take in. I know this was a longer X Factor video, so hopefully you were able to stick in for the entire ride. Again guys, regardless of what I say, if any of these characters are your favorites, or if you just want to pull for them because you love these characters, then by all means go ahead and pull. Don't let what I say or whatever other people say about these EX weapons, influence on whether or not you should pull, because it's all about the enjoyment of DFFOO. But hopefully this video helps you guys out, and hopefully it prepares you guys for some upcoming EX weapons that we're going to be receiving for Global DFFOO. Once again, this is 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for my next video, and mahal everyone.